Yo, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, fam?
Good, was good.
Hey, man, welcome to the BTG Christmas Special. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
How
Go
we
ahead,
gonna start?
Ed.
It's your boy, Cheesehead, aka Dough Pack Dough, aka Dough Cards, Reginald, the smartest man in the room.
Go ahead, Mr. Hashtag.
Yes, sir. This is Don, man, aka
Yes, boy.
Mr. Fuck Duke United.
Oh, my
All
bad.
right.
Drew, introduce yourself, man.
I seen the hashtag on mine. I didn't even see here. You know what it is. It's your boy Drew. Fly Eagles Fly. We back in the hunt, baby. Let's go. We gonna save these modes today.
Go ahead, D Money.
Yes, sir. East Atlanta Santa. Burr.
Hey, y'all know me, man. Ike Berry, man. Let's go ahead and get this show started, man. But before we get started, man, we tell everyone, please like, comment, and share. It only takes one click, a few seconds of your time.
Yes, sir, man.
All right, our first topic of the day. Who should the Jacksonville Jaguars hire to try to turn around the organization? I'll throw it to you first, Cheesehead.
I know everybody likes the Brian Leftwich hire, which wouldn't be a bad hire, but I think they should do hire Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City. You gotta think the offense that even though it is Andy Reid, he still calls the offensive plays and help Andy Reid call the offensive plays. It ain't just all Andy Reid in KC. I mean, he is a great play caller, but I think Eric Bieniemy should get the crack at it before Brian Leftwich.
Before I throw it to anybody else, I'm gonna agree with Reginald only because I don't want them taking Brian Leftwich away from the Bucks. We want to keep him because he's probably gonna be our future head coach. So as long as Brian Leftwich doesn't get touched, I'm okay with that. Donovan, what you got?
I'm gonna go with the old Eagles head coach, Doug Peterson. I kind of think he was let go unfairly. He does have a Super Bowl. I mean, I feel like he would bring some good traditions down there. If not Doug Peterson, I think Marvin Lewis. Those are my two.
Marvin Lewis is definitely a good one. I think he deserves another chance. What you think, Drew?
Man, Donovan got me right there. I was gonna say Doug Peterson. Another one would be Todd Bowles. I know you wouldn't like that one. That's your defensive coordinator. I do think Leftwich should be an all right hire. Of course, Bieniemy. I also think Jim Caldwell. If he wants back in the game, the last time the Lions was any good, he was their coach. So I think he'd do all right there too.
What you think, D Money?
To be honest with you, I think you got to take Leftwich, man, and this is why. I feel like whenever you win the Super Bowl, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator should always get some opportunities for that, and you should definitely break up the team just so they can't repeat. And I know they didn't take him yet, but they got to break the dynasty up. Somebody got to offer one of them coaches a job, man. That's just how it always goes. That's why it's hard to get back because the team gets broken up. And I feel like they deserve it. Once you lead a team to the Super Bowl, man, that's what you're doing it for, so you can get your own opportunity. So as much as I know you hate that brother, somebody got to offer that man a job.
But was it Leftwich that won him the Super Bowl? Or was it the D coordinator? I think the D coordinator should get more credit for that Super Bowl, honestly speaking.
It's both.
They both should get an opportunity.
On one point, that offense wasn't clicking as normal, and Bowles was carrying a few of them wins for sure.
But there was a lot of times that the defense wasn't playing as well, and the offense kept us afloat. Man, look at that Packers game in the NFC Championship game. That call that Leftwich made at the end of that first half was big time.
And to be honest with you, I know Leftwich wasn't like a amazing quarterback, but he probably still mean a little bit to the franchise. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it'd be a good look for them to bring him in, let him see what he could do. Can't be no
Yeah,
worse than having a
than
coach
any
that's
other
kicking
quarterback they've had
people
lately.
and doing all that other stuff that Urban Meyer was doing. So
Yeah, first thing that whoever the quarterback is, I mean, whoever the coach is, should do is take a look at another quarterback. Because, in my opinion, Trevor Lawrence just is not that guy.
Man, I called it. I said he ain't gonna be that good. Then you asked Drew. I said he's gonna be a bust. I just didn't. I just didn't. I mean, I just think Clemson. It was just perfect for him, and made for him. But he got exposed to Clemson too. So
I mean, they advertise him as Peyton Manning. That's automatically unfair to any young quarterback entering the
yeah,
league. I'm not going to jump completely off of him just yet because of who his coach was, the turmoil that was around that franchise. But yeah, I mean, you got to evaluate every position when you come in as the coach there, top to bottom. Nobody's job should be safe when you enter in there as a job. Um, yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of work to do. First of all, they need to coach with character, and they need to coach the players they're going to respect. They
absolutely.
get that, they'll be all right.
I heard I was watching some program and they were saying that some of the players had went to like the higher ups in the organization was basically telling them that they cool off Urban Meyer, man. They they wasn't respecting him and he was doing a lot of clown stuff, man. Like you can't be kicking grown men and calling them dipshits and all that type of stuff. I'm
you kidding
surprised
me? We got to fight.
one of them didn't try him, man.
They should have
In
jumped him
college,
for
he
real.
doesn't technically control their job. The general manager does. So it ain't like it is in college where these kids buck up to him. He can just kick them off the team. It is what it is. No, you got to go through a whole process. You got to go up to ownership. And you're right. The players knew what they were doing. I think it's funny that story about Josh Lambo came out like 2 days before he got fired.
I
That
think
seems
that
like
was the
that was the
reason he got
icing
fired.
on the cake. You should have done been fired him when you caught him up back at Ohio State and leaving the team to go back on the flight, and he's up and playing handsy with that young lady in that bar over there in Columbus. So that'd have been
Yeah.
it for me. But hey, I guess you got to
The
kick a kicker.
the one thing that they don't need to do is they don't need to consult Trevor Lawrence because that's what he was hollering about. Like he would like to be included in making the
You ain't
decision.
earned it.
Nah, brother, you don't
Yeah,
get to
He
You
make
ain't
do
the
need
earned it.
some
decision, man.
You
receivers
ain't
though,
earned your
because he got
stripes,
better
young buck.
receivers at Clemson for sure.
yeah, he did.
Oh,
He did.
definitely. But they got some sneaky decent ones. I mean, Laviska Chenault's all right, but he's a number 2 option or a number 3. He's not as good as a number 1. He's probably their best receiver.
They
Yeah,
lost
and I
Sharp
think
for the season. He broke his ankle, so that was
they
early in the
Didn't
drafted
season.
Marvin
ETN. I think
Jones?
they messed up right there. I was like, what? I was like, you
Yeah,
drafted another running back and you got Robinson. I know you want him to play receiver, but they could have did better with that pick. They probably could have got him later in the draft for real.
they could have. I think they could have.
Yeah, I agree with the way Robinson played last year. Like, I know now football was, a lot of teams are running 2 running backs, but the way Robinson was playing, I think you got a lot more holes on that team that you could have tried to fill with that spot and could have still got a decent, even if you didn't get him later on, you still could have got a decent running back. All right, well, let's move on to this next topic. What did the Kansas City Chiefs do to go from pretenders to contenders? It wasn't too long ago where a lot of people was counting the Chiefs out,
They was like
and
3-4, wasn't they? Something like that.
then all of a sudden they just started winning games. Drew, I'm gonna throw it to you first, man. What you think?
Well, this thing, they got some linemen back, and their defensive line came back. Their defense obviously has been the biggest change. I think I read yesterday, they haven't allowed, up until the other day, they hadn't allowed over 10 points in their last 3 games. I mean, so that's obviously number one. I think, too, Andy's a great coach as far as quarterbacks come. I think he got in Pat's ear, maybe reverse of what you saw last night, but he got in Pat's ear off to the side and told him, hey, protect the ball. You got to stop this, because some of the throws he was making, he's had success with them early in his career, but they weren't even close to the type of throws he was making, throwing into triple coverage, just throwing the ball so he didn't get sacked. It was pretty bad. And that's the number one thing. You take care of the ball and you play defense in the NFL, you'll be successful. So those are the two things I've seen that they've started doing, and it's worked for them.
All right, before I throw this to someone else, it's what I'm gonna say about your comment, Drew, about that defense. That defense, they played the New York Giants. Then they played Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you.
They've played the Raiders twice. The first time they played the Raiders, that was right when the Ruggs situation happened and all that was going on. Then they played Dallas without Amari Cooper, and CD Lamb got a concussion real early in the game.
He was missing his left tackle.
Yeah. And they played Denver. And then the last game they played the Chargers and they gave up 28 points against the Chargers. So like
right.
But really
that's why I said until last game they hadn't been allowing much. But
really,
yeah, I mean
really the defense is playing good, but they've actually gotten lucky also throughout those games because a lot of people have been out and injured, or playing against some very not good offenses.
So is my team. I can't say nothing. We talked about it today. We ain't beat a legitimate quarterback all year. You play who's in front of you, man. You can't help that.
All right, D Money, what you got?
I think Mahomes just started playing a little better, to be honest with you. Like I ain't gonna get real complicated. If you look at like his last handful of games, he kind of got back to, kind of the way he normally does business. I ain't gonna say if they legitimate or not. I mean, it could still be fool's gold based on the scheduling, but he just seemed to wake up. Like, I don't know what was going on with him in the beginning of the year. He was getting a little bit of a pass based off of what he'd already done, and people was kind of quietly just kind of, sweeping it under the rug. But he was just playing like the worst he ever played in his whole career, probably. So, he's just playing better. That's all it really is to me. Burr.
What you got, Reginald?
Man, I'm going with what, like you said, they ain't played nobody. They played. Look, I'm gonna break it down to y'all like this. They got beat down. I got the schedule pulled up. That's what I was looking at. Before they went on this winning streak that they went on, they went to the Titans and lost 27-3. They barely squeaked by the Giants, 20-17. We know how bad the Giants is. They worse than the Eagles. The Packers, they beat 13-7 with the first year start. Well, I don't even say first year, first time starting quarterback without Aaron Rodgers. Now, do y'all think they would have won that game 13-7 with Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback?
Not at all.
They beat the Raiders after the run stuff. They beat the Cowboys, who was missing key players. I mean, I know injuries is part of the game. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Raiders again. And they beat the Chargers because the coach wouldn't kick field goals.
The Chargers tackle y'all mentioned from Dallas is injured every year. So y'all
every year. He is. He's injured every year.
But CD Lamb going down early in that game was
Cooper
big.
Being out. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. I'll give you that one.
So
that was big.
And
was Gallup back then?
I don't even think Gallup was back.
I don't even think, huh?
His first game back because that's who caught the touchdown pass.
Okay, so
I think so. I could be wrong.
All right, so look, if that was Gallup, if it was, then that was it would have to be his first game back. So you talking about somebody that's rusty, who hasn't played in a long time, and you missing the other two receivers.
They ain't played nobody. This food's low to me.
Yeah. What you got, Donovan?
I think two things that are consistent for Kansas City turning it around. They've been more consistent all around, offense and defense, regardless of who they play. It's the NFL. You can't control who you play. You got to play who's in front of you. Any given week, there's going to be injury. So, I mean, we can use that as an excuse, but also they could have still lost them games, and we would have been talking about that. But they won those games. So they're starting to look like more like contenders. They've won the games. Defense is looking better, regardless of who they played. And Patrick Mahomes is back to himself because for a while he was looking real Spencer Rattlish. And he should have about put him in the transfer portal the way he was looking because he was being bad. Anybody that had him on their fantasy football team, I'm pretty sure that hurt your record early on in the year. But yeah, as a whole, they've just been playing better. They have been very lucky with their schedule and the injuries, but they can't help that. We got to see they did beat the Chargers, even though it was barely. I was skeptic on both coaches not kicking field goals in the game. In a lot of situations, that game shouldn't have gone to overtime, for real.
But speaking of playing well, who do you guys have as the NFL's MVP? D Money, I'm gonna throw it to you first.
All right, let me see. This is an interesting question for me. I'm gonna give you who I think is gonna win, but I'm gonna give you who I want to win. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna win. His team's in first place. He's playing. What he got, like 30 touchdowns and 3 picks, something crazy like that. He's definitely doing his thing. But I would actually like to see Watt win, man. I think it's time for another defensive player to win, man. And if you really look at it, the majority of the games that the Steelers even won, like he had heavy impact in a whole lot of them. And if he wouldn't have been like playing as good as he been playing this year, the Steelers might have only won like one game. So I definitely think Aaron Rodgers is the front runner. But I think it's time to see another defensive MVP, man. What's the last one? Lawrence Taylor? I think he might be the last one, man. So I think it's time for another one, man.
Well, it definitely can't be Watt because his injuries. He's missed quite a few games. But
the ones that he played in, man, he was doing his thing out there, man. Like the Steelers would probably have the worst record in the NFL if it wasn't for that boy. But like I said, Aaron Rodgers is the front runner. I'll go with Aaron Rodgers.
Donovan, what you got?
Who I think is going to win, honestly, is going to be between Brady and Rodgers, just because where they've led their teams to, and quarterbacks get pretty much all the credit. Who I want to win and who I think is most deserving, just because how he's carried a team, Jonathan Taylor. He's the whole offense. Wentz has still been trash.
Thank you.
The rest of that team is
thank you.
Well, actually, Indy's D is pretty nice, but Jonathan Taylor is like solely the reason they've won like a lot of games, if not all of them. Can't tell you one game Wentz has carried them to a win. But Rodgers, Brady, two poster childs, man. It's between them. Is Brady finally going to continue with his reign at 44 years old? I think so. I guess it really just depends if the Packers finish number one in the NFC, or if the Bucs can somehow pull it out. I think that'll be the coin flip for who wins it for real.
Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah. So I would have said Tom Brady until that debacle against New Orleans. I think that hurt a lot.
Me too.
I would say Rodgers, but he missed a little bit of time. Yeah, you could argue the first seed. The most consistent person all year has been Jonathan Taylor. I mean, like my boy just said, Wentz has not played that well. He's not turning the ball over. That's what he's doing. That's the only good thing compared to what he was doing last year. You're not turning the ball over. But he is the reason that they're back in the playoff point, or actually holding a wild card spot, if I'm not mistaken, with a still outside shot at the division, I believe. They got one more against the Titans, I believe. Is that this week or next week? It's coming up soon, I believe. But yeah, I think hands down, everybody else has had up and down years. Jonathan Taylor's just been balling all year.
But see, here's the thing, though. When it comes to Taylor, like, yes, he has good numbers, but they was comparable to Derrick Henry last year, and Derrick Henry didn't win. So it's kind of one of them things where it's like if they didn't give it to Henry for what he was doing last year, I can't see Taylor getting it this year. And didn't he have like when his first 2 games kind of funny a little bit?
First 2, 3 games, yeah, because they was doing that committee thing with him and Hines back there. But after that,
And then the
he
thing,
took off.
and another thing is like if you look at his average yards per game, it's kind of low. Or I ain't gonna say it's low. It's actually above average, but it's not really like impressive. Like he's doing 120 or 130. Like was he doing like 101 or something like that?
Who that is?
Was
And
that
to
Lou?
your point, my guy. If they do a defensive player, and man, y'all know I'm keeping it real here because I would never say this normally. If they gonna give somebody a defensive player MVP, man, it's got to be Micah Parsons. Dallas defense is nowhere near what it was last year, and that young boy is going crazy. What I heard about him pre-draft is absolutely wrong. I heard he just didn't have the love for football, and that was some of the team's question marks on him. I don't care if the boy loves football or not; he's damn good at it. So, if you're gonna give it to somebody defensive, it's got to be Michael Parsons. I don't think there's anybody else you could even give. Maybe Diggs, and I hate to. I mean, I should go rinse my mouth out with soap from saying that.
Not Diggs. Diggs gets a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, he gets burned too much, right?
But
Parsons.
he gets burned a lot. But Michael Parsons, he's a beast, man. He's gonna make a whole lot of money in this league.
That boy is true.
Go ahead, Reginald, man. We already know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
You already know who I got number 1. Number 12 up in Lambeau, man. Hey, man, ever since the Saints game, man, the man's thrown, 4 interceptions on the whole year. The last couple of years, I don't think he's throwing over 5 interceptions. You're not going to get many interceptions out of him. So, I think it's between him, Brady, and Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's up there to me. But like Derek said, if you didn't give it to Henry, why you gonna give it to Taylor? Because Henry did it one year and then overachieved another year, the following year last year. And I think if he didn't get hurt this year, he would have more
won
pressure on him. He most definitely would have won it this year. So, man, I'm going with Aaron back to back, and then he's gonna leave us.
Don't cry, man. Ask Santa for a gift.
Man,
well, here's where he can come right here, Reggie. I got a perfect prop for you on where he should come.
Why do you want him to come there when you so big on Hurts?
I don't. I'm just.
So it lets me know how you really feel about Hurts.
I'm just wrecking. No. Well, I told y'all after the New Orleans game, I'm sold. They need to draft defense with those first 3 picks. Let's let Jalen run.
We try to tell him that Hurts
much.
is going to be good, and he don't want to listen, man. Drew hard-headed.
Nah, I did not say Hurts was going to be good.
I'm saying, we got a group chat that we talk in, and we tell him in there, like, chill out, bro. Hurts is a winner. He's going to be good. I've told Drew that multiple times. I like Hurts.
The only time I ever said anything negative about Jalen Hurts was last year. Last year, I said something negative about Hurts because I was still on the Wentz train. Once I fell off that Wentz train, I've been on Jalen. Give him a chance. Now I like the chance.
Well, look, I pretty much
let's
agree.
Get back on topic.
I pretty much agree with the 3 that's in the race. With Brady, Rodgers, and Jonathan Taylor. I think those 3 should be the top 3. But you know me, I'm gonna be a little biased. I'm gonna say Brady. Brady's thrown for almost 1,000 more yards than Aaron Rodgers. He has 6 more touchdowns. He does have 8 more interceptions, but 1,000 yards and the 6 more touchdowns. And it was in 1 more game, but a 1,000 more yards with 1 more game. That's a lot of yards, man.
Hey, listen, I think if he would have played good last game, he would have sold it all the way up.
But
because that would have been a statement, man. But that would have been a statement.
Yeah, but he still has 3 more games.
He does, man. But that definitely
that
might have gave Rodgers the edge.
Hey,
it was my pick. If he wouldn't have
another thing that will help though is he was already without AB and Evans and Godwin. Edwards and Godwin both went out early in the second quarter, so like you can't really put that on him when he's playing with a bunch of people who don't really play.
Hold up.
That's New England all over again.
He is in the league. I think Brady should have been able to at least put some points on the board.
But it wasn't. But if you look,
he's 44, multi-time MVP. 6 rings? He should have been able to put some points on the board at least.
He has 7 rings, but
11. Okay, 7.
But
he put 7 points on the board at least.
But if you watch the game, though, it wasn't like he was throwing bad passes. It was a lot of drop balls, a whole lot of drop balls. Even Gronk was dropping some big time balls. So it really wasn't like Brady was just out there making bad plays.
I ain't gonna say that it lost him the MVP, but what I will say is that he could have sold it all the way up if he would have had a super impressive performance in that game or even won it. I think it would have just been hands down
pass. A touchdown pass would have done it for me.
But what if Baltimore would have got that 2-point conversion?
With 42 seconds left, sir.
42 seconds left with no timeouts, and your kicker is.
I kicked your has been. Yeah, I kicked your has been. I need that. I
think y'all had 0 timeouts, and your kicker was trash.
Yeah, he's been trash. I think it's time.
So I don't think Rodgers gets.
Yeah, thanks for that fantasy.
I don't think Rodgers would have got him a win.
Shit, he stoned Hail Marys before.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just like Tom. He's just like Tom. If you leave 30 seconds on the clock, that's too much. You can't leave them two dudes no time.
Rodgers got to get 2 Super Bowls before he
I'm glad you cleared that up when you said he's just like Tom. To talk about
the only 2. I mean, I wouldn't even put Mahomes in that category yet because I ain't seen him do it enough. It's literally just them 2 dudes that I'm scared to death that there's time on the clock and they get the ball back.
Yeah, I mean, well, Mahomes, he ain't really had to do that a lot because they
usually up
big, so he
put them out right. And the games where they were behind, he's throwing dumb interceptions and stuff. So I can't put him in that category, man. Sorry, Pat. Sorry, legend.
Man,
y'all know my Eagles, bro. It's payback day.
Yeah, so
I can't see y'all. I'm about to come out and come back in because I can see me, but I can't see none of y'all. Hold on, I'll be back.
This guy.
Always an Eagle fan, ain't it?
It's always that one white.
Hey, my bad, darling. My bad, bro. My bad.
It's always that one white dude. But man, for real, it's Brady all day for me, man.
Back, baby.
I think it's whoever finishes number 1.
You see us, fam?
Who finished with the better record gets it for real, bro.
I don't think the Bucs finished with a better record. I mean, because I don't think Green Bay's going to lose again either. I don't think Tampa's going to lose another game, but I don't think Green Bay will either. Green Bay has more of a chance to lose because they play better teams. Reginald, who y'all got?
Cleveland, Vikings, and Lions,
and then the Lions. Yeah, so I mean,
I need y'all not to lose out, Reggie.
Cleveland. You never know with Cleveland; they up and down, but I say they got the best chance out of the 3.
All right, it's over. He's tied with Brett, and we at home, so he's about to pass Brett for the time. We about to smoke them.
We're gonna see. They got something to play for. They trying to.
Yeah, they do.
Cleveland better win that game if they want to make the playoffs.
They do.
And then Minnesota, that's another team that's like so up and down.
They need to win too.
They gotta have it. They can't afford to lose a game either.
And then the Lions.
We can't rest our starters. If we rest, I looked at it earlier. If we rest our starters, if we lose, Dallas would get the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Tampa. And then
Dallas would.
Yeah, Dallas would get the 1 seed.
But Dallas has to win too. They got.
Yeah.
I know they still got Arizona coming up.
Arizona, the Eagles, and I want to say the Redskins again.
They got Arizona, the Redskins,
Arizona's
and Philly.
Arizona's the only team that
Washington's
got a
done
chance.
after last night. They got too many
Arizona's
games left.
Yeah, Arizona's the only team got a chance at beating Dallas. Tampa,
Not after the way they played last week.
Yeah, I
Arizona got
Arizona.
something. They could have clinched their spot.
That better have been a fluke.
Blanked.
yeah, but I'm
no,
saying,
Arizona does that, man. They do it.
They can't clinch.
Last
They're
year,
not used to-
forget
they're
how
not
hot
used to
they
being
was.
there.
They missed the playoffs. They missed the playoffs last
Yeah,
year.
they started out hot
wouldn't
last year and
imagine
lost like
one
7
of the best
straight.
teams in the league. Yep.
well, you know, Tampa's last 3 games, we got the Panthers, then the Jets, and then the Panthers.
That's pretty easy.
Really.
So we should win out.
The easiest schedule in the NFL left. Damn.
We should win out, but we'll see what happens though. But man, this is a topic that we should have been talking about a lot more here lately. But what are y'all thoughts on Travis Hunter going to the HBCU? What does that mean for the HBCUs? And does this help Travis Hunter or does it hurt his stock by not playing, on national TV, being seen and playing against more big time talent? Donovan, I'm gonna throw it to you first since you're over shaking your head, man. What you think on this?
I think it's a great situation, and I think Deion Sanders did a lot of things that, of course, other coaches couldn't do, which is going to the home of a black family, telling what he's going to do for his future. Deion's a Hall of Fame player, arguably the best cornerback all time. It's like, what better tool is to be under? He's done it in college. He's done it in the NFL. Now he's coaching at a historically black college. I think it was an easy sell for him to go into the house of Travis Hunter's parents and do that. And honestly, you don't have to be at a big-time school to get noticed. If you can play, they're going to find you. I was like, we see where Joe Flacco came from. We see where some other quarterbacks came from in other divisions. I was like, it don't matter. If you got the highlight tape and you can play, they're going to see what you can do. You're either going to ball out in the pros, you're going to get exposed, and that's going to put a dim light on it. But I think it does a lot for HBCUs. Hopefully it gets some more funding, especially for like athletics when it comes to like injuries and, them getting the same treatment as, of course, the Power 5 conferences do and these other colleges do. So that can help them stay more level and give them an even better advantage. Big thing for HBCUs, and I think Travis Hunter will be very successful under Deion Sanders.
All right, Drew, what you got?
Well, I totally agree. I think it's huge. I think the fact that you see so many people in the media like Doug Gottlieb and who else was it? There's a few other ones that basically trashing this young man. First of all, I think maybe Legend brought it up last show. There's a ton of Hall of Famers that played in the HBCU. So that's not going to matter as far as who he's playing with, the talent, and things like that. Plus, like my boy said, man, you got Deion Sanders walking into a home. The only other person I think that could probably walk into somebody's home, maybe 2 people, would be Dabo Swinney or Nick Saban. Thank you. I don't know why it took me so long to think that he's the best coach ever. Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney probably be about the only 2 people that could come in and trump him. I know my coaches ain't. But I mean, I think it's great. I think it continues to change the game, and that's what Deion said he was going to do. What I'm going to be real interested to see is, will Deion stay? Is he still going to stick? There's a lot of jobs coming open and his name's getting thrown around for. These jobs will start filling up soon. Bowl season's almost over. It won't be much longer. I think it's great. I love it. I love to see it for the sport. I love to see it for the HBCUs that desperately need the recognition. Hey, anything that screws the NCAA and takes away from their money, I'm a Louisville fan. I don't like the NCAA.
Reginald, you ready to cook, man?
Yes.
So what's your thoughts, man?
No, I loved it. I love the decision of him to go there and go to HBCU. Like Deion said, you only get that experience once. And going to college, and especially when they brought him in for the visit, it was homecoming. So it was wow. You know how it is at HBCU homecomings. It's wow. People, step in and A lot of stuff going on. So I think more kids should do that. Should go that route. You don't always have to go to a Power Five school to go to NFL. NFL 7 rounds. You can always get drafted in the NFL. Another thing is, like you said, Dion going into that man's house, to that kid's house. You know his father know who Deion Sanders is. Prime. This is prime time. And my son's a cornerback, so he's already gonna learn from an NFL cornerback, be coached by an NFL cornerback. So I think it's a win-win, man.
Can Dion teach him how to tackle though?
No.
Hey, that's what he's got assistants for, my dog. He's got assistants for.
You don't need to tackle when you're keeping them from catching balls.
You for sure.
F Star studied down there too. I can't remember who all was on his staff, but I've heard some names thrown around down there. They're gonna learn. They're gonna learn from pros.
This is my take. I think it's big time for the HBCUs, and I think it's big time for Travis Hunter also. I mean, to be the best coming out of high school at the corner position, and you're going to be coached by arguably the greatest to ever play the position, that's big time. But Drew, I agree with you with, does primetime stay? Or does he go with, like, I gotta believe that his dream job is to coach at Florida State.
From what I heard, the boosters want him.
And so that's my thing, is if Florida State comes to him and says, "Hey, we want you," because I think Florida State dropped the ball before. I think they should have gave him a shot, before he could even get
Willie,
him.
they should have hired him.
But I think they was wanting to wait and see if he was going to be able to do this job. But I think they should have just gave him a chance anyway. But I do believe that they're going to throw an offer to him. And I don't know if he stays down there if he goes to Florida State.
I believe for him to leave, it's going to have to be something that's a lot of behind the scenes, because money's not the issue.
And we know it's not money.
I'm not going to leave for money. It's
but
a lot of things that.
This me personally, I think Florida State has to be his dream job.
And I think Norvell out of there next year. They'll give him 1 more year.
Like, if you ever listen to him talk, like, how much he loves Florida State, like, it has to be his dream job. And if he was to leave and go to Florida State after Travis Hunter comes there, does that hurt the other HBCUs in getting big name players? Because those players now might be like, I don't know if I want to go there, because that coach could end up leaving.
Well, guess what? Portal, leave right with him.
Portal's a fool, man.
That ain't a problem. Be like,
it's so easy for these players to leave now, man. Hey.
No, sit out.
You going to Florida State? I'm going with you. Let's go.
And also, I don't even know
made it so much
Florida State's a
easier when
great
you
job
coach
right now for him to even leave and go to.
D-Money.
And Deion coach at that level, because he just got messed over in the bowl game.
He did. About a week
he should have pulled his son out of that game.
Boy, I was watching it. I'm like, man, where are you throwing the ball? Like,
D-Money, what you got?
Check this out, right? Me personally, I'm torn a little bit down the middle, right? Because I'm going to just be honest with you. He might just want to go to a HBCU because he might just want to be around other black people. And I ain't got no problems with that. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. Like, some people just like to be around people they familiar with. But this is the one thing that I will say is I feel like now with this name, image, and likeness stuff going on, that's going to be a major factor, because reportedly, and I don't think he's confirmed this, I think everybody's denying it, but Deion Sanders got the Barstool Sports deal. So reportedly, they offered this kid $2 million. So if he got $2 million, he might feel like, I'll shoot down there and see what's up with the HBCU, because at the end of the day, if his NFL career don't shake out, he made $2 million, right? So he's still making what the majority of regular people are going to make in their whole entire 30-year career working somewhere. So it'll be a little bit easier to slide down there and see what's up if you getting $2 million put in your pocket. But this is the key factor right here. And I got to do a shameless plug real quick. on my show, Sports and Discourse, I'm about to dive real heavy into the name, image, and likeness subject. But just to briefly speak on it, what's going to happen if Deion Sanders does take the job and these kids start moving around? What's going to happen with their name, image, and likeness contracts? Like for instance, if Ty Washington was to leave Kentucky, is he still getting the Porsche? Is he still getting Fazoli's? Does he got to pay it back? So it's gonna be a whole lot of stuff that's gonna be really having to like they're gonna have to really see how things shake out with these contracts that these players is getting on the side. But
But
I
are,
do
are the are the contracts for 1 year, or are
I'm
they
not
for multiple years?
I haven't been able to find no solid information and see
See,
like when you
I would think
look
with
at
a I didn't mean to cut you off, but I would think with especially in college basketball with a lot of where so many one and dones that it would be a 1 year contract.
it may be so, man. But look at Master P's son situation, right? So he supposedly got $2 million from this company that nobody's ever heard of, right? He ain't done no advertising on his Instagram for this company that's paying him $2 million, and then he leaves Tennessee State because he said they don't got the medical facilities to take care of his rehab properly, right? So that's one thing that these kids are going to have to factor in when they start making these decisions. Like you can go to Jackson State, but are you going to get the best trainers? Are you going to get the best facilities? Or are you going to be better off going to Alabama? That's why I said the money that they might be receiving on the side might make it a little bit more helpful because if it doesn't pan out, they still might end up being rich. But not everybody is gonna be able to get those type of deals. It's really not working out for a whole lot. Like I haven't really seen a whole lot of these kids really getting major deals yet. So we're gonna have to see how that plans out or how that plays out and see what kind of money they really starting to get. And we're gonna have to see how these tax returns starts looking. When you getting these kids, they supposedly making this money, they might do a little something different. But if they not gonna be making that money, I don't know if they really gonna start jumping out the window and going to all these different schools because these HBCUs it's probably a great experience to go to that school and be around all kinds of other black people and everything like that. But at the same time, they just don't really get the funding like these big schools. Um, I had seen where I think there's 134 HBCUs in the whole entire country, and they only got like $8 billion of endowment. Then you look at like Harvard, they got 40 billion. So a lot of these people, even though HBCUs are producing the most professionals, like if you look at like black kids that go on to be professionals like doctors and attorneys and dentists and different things like that, they producing the majority of the black professionals. But they not really getting nobody to really give money back to the schools like that. So maybe, he can start the trend where he can go on and be a successful NFL player, make some money, throw a few million back to the school, and maybe it can start to help. But I don't know right away if it's really going to make too much of a difference yet. But it is going to always take one person to jump out the window and then other people to follow. So I think he's just going to be the experiment, man. And we're gonna have to look 3 to 4 years down the line and see what happens to this kid. And if it works out great, you know what I'm saying? A lot of other kids I can see going that way. But if it works out bad, I don't know if they're gonna start following that trend, man. But like I said, with the name, image, and likeness, if you can put $2 or $3 million in the kid's pocket, he might be cool because if he don't make it to the league, he's still gonna be straight.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you definitely with that name, image, and likeness. Uh, I
I
also
think to your point. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, boss. I think to your point on that 1 year stuff. I think if it's not 1 year, it might follow more of the company than it would say the kid in the company more than it would the school. Like say with Porsche or with Fazoli's. I mean, those are national name brands. I mean, you can get paid by Porsche or Fazoli's anywhere. Uh, but yeah, it'll be real interesting to see. Like Kentucky Connect got like a huge deal with Wandale Robinson, Will Tevis, and stuff like that. So if players like that were to leave or anything like that, not for the NFL, it'd be real interesting to see what happens with that money.
And what's gonna happen to these kids when they try to transfer when they got deals with certain people? They're gonna be like, nah, you can't leave, brother. Like you got a
Mm-hmm.
deal to advertise this for this school. You can't go to another school. So what's
Sometimes you
gonna
need
happen when
clout.
all that starts getting tied into it?
There was a situation that worked out. Quinn Ewers leaving Ohio State for Texas. His NIL was going to get pulled because he wasn't going to be starting. It was like, why are we going to pay you and you on the bench? It's like, so if you're not starting next year, this was coming with us, which led him going back to his original commit, which was Texas. He's going to go down there and start, earn his money.
We'll see, man. Hopefully it work out for Travis Hunter, man. Tip my hat to him, though.
I hope it does for him too, because if it don't work out for him, it's going to deter the next crop of young men from doing it.
But they need players to start getting involved, and then, like I said, they need people funneling money back into those schools because they just not getting the support that they need. So that's why they can't have great medical facilities, because they ain't getting nobody donating $2 or $3 million to build new buildings. Like, they not getting none of that. So they got to work with scraps.
Like you said, though, besides the Hall of Famers, they're producing a lot of wealthy Black professionals. So we got, just like, I mean, you see it at schools like Louisville, even. And I could tell you the name of the one at Western if I wouldn't get in trouble. Western's got one. So these players and these people that have went to these schools got to start giving back to them too. Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, I'm sure they do. So I'm not going to call them out and speak negative and say they don't. But they got to give back to these schools and make them, these budgets higher. They got to make them. Those people are the only ones that are going to allow them to compete money-wise with bigger schools.
Yeah, man, because if you walk into Kentucky, and Kentucky's not even a big football program, but if you walk into Kentucky and you see all the nice beds and nice TVs and people's getting Porsche deals, then how you going to go to a HBCU and then they got you sleeping on cots? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just saying, because I don't know what they look like. But I'm just saying they don't have nicer facilities than Alabama and Texas and those type of schools. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they got a lot of beautiful Black women.
And that's what I said. I ain't mad at them.
That right there alone will draw a lot of these young Black men.
Right, because we all think with a different brain.
But but for real, like, if Primetime stays, even if he gets an offer from Florida State and he turns it down and stays and shows that he's locked in, I say we start to see a lot more players go to his program and play.
In fact, it's lit if he'll do that. If you can, if that job comes open and he gets, Dion turns down Florida State for Jackson State, wants to say to HBC, that's the game has changed officially.
If he starts drawing, like if he stays there and he does that and he starts getting a lot more big name players to come, these other HBCUs are going to have to start looking at some big name coaches, some big name players, people who's played the game and is, great at the game, to try to draw in people for their school also. Because if Primetime's getting all the big talent, he's going to be tearing the HBCU team, the other teams apart.
But see, the thing is, that's why, like I said, Primetime got deals on the side with other companies, because at the end of the day, some of these bigger schools like Alabama and all them, they can probably pay some of these guys assistant salary to match what they would get to go down to the HBCU. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to wait and see what all of these other coaches can do with this name, image, and likeness stuff too, man, because they're going to have to start doing what Dion did and taking deals on the side. But like we said, we don't really know what's really going on with these deals. I don't know if Barstool Sports might tell Dion, we need you to go to Florida State, and we're going to make your bag bigger as well. Like, I don't really know what the terms are going to be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's in business with them.
He works for them. Yeah, he works for them. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say works for. He's got a business agreement with them. I don't think Dion works for nobody. That man's got too much money to work for anybody.
Hey,
Well, technically, he kind of does work for him because they paying him a salary to do a job. But
you're right.
so
Yeah,
I think
you're
it's
right.
fair. You can say that.
This is a topic that we definitely gonna have to dig more deep into. But we're gonna keep the show rolling and move on to this next topic. I don't know if you guys have seen the comment that Iman Shumpert made against LeBron, but he said it was Bron first going to Miami. Bron knows he ruined basketball. Do you agree with Shumpert that LeBron ruined basketball by going to Miami and forming the big three? Uh, Drew, I'm gonna let you go first since you down there kind of shaking your head.
Man, so y'all know I never miss a chance to jump on old LeBron James. I think he jumps a little far on that one. Man, now granted, I don't think you can officially label a team a super team, or they can even come into that category until they win a title, because otherwise they're a bust. Miami, if Miami would have disbanded after that Dallas incident, they're a bust. Nobody would ever talk about Miami again. I think the way he did it and what Shumpert is leading to is the way LeBron did it is different than it had ever been done before. But as far as ruining the game, nah, man, basketball is probably as popular now as it was back when I was a little kid when it was in its peak. The big thing about the NBA back then when we were kids is what the NBA is going to do when Jordan retires, because that's their big money draw. LeBron has been, since Jordan, the best, and LeBron, one prop I'll give him is they chopped him up before he came in, made him out to be this big. He's going to be the greatest player of all time, and he lived up to it, man. He has lived up to all of it. He has not had adversity. So to say he ruined basketball, nah. LeBron is great for the game of basketball, no matter how much I hate on him. And him winning championships was good for basketball, no matter how much I hated it.
Donovan.
Didn't ruin basketball. There's been super teams going back to the 50s, guys. Let's be real. I was like, it was different, and honestly, what he did gave more power to players of that mode, the superstar, the elite players. Like, if I get drafted to a team and they're not putting me in the best position to win, guess what? I'm gonna hit up the homies in the chat. I was like, we all free agents this summer. What y'all trying to do? I'm not about to let this organization dictate whether I'm gonna win a ring or not in my career. Why? I was like, the other super teams back in those days were built by GMs through trades, drafting, actually molding teams together. Nowadays, these type caliber players ain't got to wait on that. Like, why I got to wait for you and put my trust in you to get me a ring when I can more so do it myself? So I ain't got to trust in no GM. If y'all ain't doing it within my rookie contract, I'm out. Game on. That's it, man.
Reginald, what you got, buddy?
Man, everybody knows me. I ain't gonna say hater. I just dislike bro. I'm a Spurs fan, so we always used to beat up on him and stuff. So once he beat us in the finals a year, it kind of made me dislike him a little bit. But I don't think he did. He ruined the game of basketball. After Jordan, basically the game of basketball needed LeBron, to continue on after Kobe. After Kobe retired, and I think he's been great for basketball. Now teaming up with different players, I might mess with people all the time and say, yeah, he teamed up. But I don't think he ruined basketball. Man, he actually saved basketball.
D Money, what you got?
50% yes, 50% no. The reason why I say he kind of ruined it is because I think he just kind of changed the game to a point where he made free agency so important to the game. Like nowadays, it's like an arms race, which is good for the players, right? Because you can be an average player, but you could just have a 45%. Well, I know it might be a little high. Let's say a 42% 3-point shooter, right? And you can get $15 million a year now because the way LeBron has changed the game of basketball. It's like as soon as the season's over, it's an arms race to fill your roster up perfectly. And nobody's really trying to get a team of players and build them throughout their career. It's like, okay, you shot bad for us last year. You out of here. We got to get Drew because Drew shoots good. All right, now we got to get Reginald because Reginald gets 12 rebounds a game. So he kind of helped the game as far as like he made it to where like a lot of players can get a large amount of money that is really like marginal players. You know what I mean? But he made the specialty player like really, really important. And it's like in the off season, it's just like we got to build these teams. And it's almost like it kind of takes a little bit of the fun away from it because it kind of shapes the whole season in the off season. So now you got a whole bunch of players that normally would stick it out in certain cities and just try to ride their careers out. Now they just like, man, I'm out of here. Especially when they're in these small market cities, man. Like for instance, if Zion Williams ever gets his, his health and his conditioning under control, he's already ready to bounce. He already wants to go, and now as soon as he's a free agent, it's going to be an arms race to get Zion. And the same way it was with Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony Davis, like here's one thing I respect. One thing I respect about LeBron James is when he did his super team business, he never like bailed on none of his teams. Like he wrote his contracts out. Now, eventually, after he like played a few seasons, did he start hitting them with the like 1-year extensions? Yeah, but he always honored his contracts. So I respect that. But it changed the game to where some of these other players now, man, they just wind their way out of town, and it's like they trying to just beg their way to a championship. And it's like I feel like some of them take the easy road now because they just want to be looked at as champions. And then once they get a championship, they don't really care no more. Like I'm not sure. Like I hate to say this because I love AD, but I'm not sure he really cares anymore. Like he begged his way and forced his way out of New Orleans because he knew he was in high demand. He got his championship, and now I don't know if he cares, man. So I do think it kind of like I don't think KD would have ever left OKC. I think he would have just rode it out and tried to win if it wasn't for everybody else. It's like if I don't leave, then I'm never gonna beat LeBron, and LeBron might get 5, 6 rings up on me. So now he's doing stuff that makes him kind of look bad. Like he's running to Golden State. He really didn't need to do it. He was really too good to do that. But and it made him look kind of bad. Even though he still got to shine, he still got his finals MVPs, he still got 2 championships. It don't really hit the same, you know what I mean? And now everybody's still questioning
They
him
got a
at the end
title
of his
without it.
career.
Yeah, but with KD's situation, his organization actually ruined the chance for him to win a ring when they chose Homie over Harden. That was one of the boldest moves I've ever seen. Because when Harden was running
Who his
point
number
for them,
two is?
they went to the chip.
I agree
And they
with you.
chose who
KD
was it?
left
Was
OKC
it
because of
Ibaka?
Westbrook.
You said when Harden was running point.
Yeah, it was Ibaka.
Harden was coming off the bench.
Yeah,
he
but
was
when
Yeah,
all
Harden
three
was
of them was in the
I'm
game
talking-
at the same time, Harden ran
Yeah,
point.
when all three of them.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Harden came in, Harden would run point. Westbrook would go
Yeah, so if
off.
KD would have stayed in
KD
OKC,
left because of
the general
Westbrook.
manager would have been in full control of
To
KD
me-
not even having a better chance of winning the ring.
To me, it was a
This
win-win
was
for
the
him
team
to
that he
go to
drafted by choosing Ibaka over Harden, one of the dumbest decisions over the past decade.
Now
Sam
where I
Presti
think
will
it's
wear
going to
that
hurt
for his
them,
entire career.
where I think LeBron is going to eventually hurt some of the players is this next collective bargaining agreement. They're going to be on the players, man. They're not going to have them with all of these no trade clauses and all of this. You can back out after 1 year and all that. They're going to, with the amount of money that they're getting, they're going to change some things, man, because a lot of these teams just get left in the dust, man. It's almost like you draft a player, you develop him for 3 years, and then he goes to a big city team and wins a championship for them. And they're going to change that, man. And it's going to eventually hurt the NBA. But right now, it's good for a lot of them.
Rant
They
yesterday,
getting,
didn't you?
huh?
You heard that Stephen A. rant yesterday, didn't you, about Ben Simmons and Kyrie? And
No,
about how
I
them
didn't.
two,
I didn't listen to
he
it.
said them two brothers is going to cause the whole CBA deal to get reworked next year. Because, I mean,
They
look at
will,
Ben
though.
and Kyrie.
They will, though, man.
He said them two ruined it for everybody else.
They will.
Hey, that man came on the show with COVID, though. He came on just like we're on right now. He came on the show with COVID just to trash Kyrie. Otherwise, that man would have took the day off.
I'm gonna say I don't think LeBron ruined basketball. I think I agree with Donovan. Super teams have been formed like for many years, and then you look at the Boston Celtics with KG and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, and yeah, people could say they was a little older than what LeBron and them were, but they were all still greats, and they were all still playing great at the time, and they teamed up to win a championship. And I really believe that that's the only reason why LeBron ever even thought about moving. Just like how Derek was saying, LeBron made it to where KD had to go somewhere else just to stay on top. I think with Boston forming the team, they pushed LeBron to where he had to go somewhere just to get over top of them.
Yeah,
That's
because
true,
difference.
man.
One thing, the
Dan
only
Gilbert wasn't
difference,
doing nothing for Bron.
right.
Now,
The only difference there is Danny Ainge put Boston together because
Right.
Kevin Garnett has been outspoken about this recently. If KG had his choice, he was going to LA to play with Kobe. That
Yeah.
deal was done until the backdoor relationship between Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge. Kevin McHale was the GM of the Timberwolves at the time. Danny Ainge was the GM of the Boston Celtics. That's what happened.
And that's the
if-
reason why I think a lot of
That's
players
crazy.
resent
I ain't know that.
LeBron is because he was the first one that really didn't let the organization build.
Bron was the
super
player
team.
empowerment.
But he was a free agent.
Which is why I say he didn't ruin the game, because player empowerment is great for the NBA.
Yeah.
It takes that farmhand shit more out of the game and gives the players more power. That's why I'm all good for it. You will not hear me say
Now-
you run basketball.
Now,
But it's
LeBron,
different.
if LeBron would have cried his way out of Cleveland and said, you know, I want to be traded out and I will only go to a contender and all that, then that's one thing. But he was a free agent.
People kill KD for that.
And that's
But
not
KD,
that's
but
not
the
LeBron's
thing with
fault.
the thing with KD though that's different is
He went to who beat him.
the thing with KD that's different is
Completely.
KD got beat by them guys. You don't ever go to the team that
Beat
put you
him.
out.
Hey,
You don't
man.
ever go play. You don't ever go play with the team. You think
They hit up
you
KD.
think
But
Jordan would have
but real
left to
talk-
win play? You think
But
Jordan
real
would
talk,
have
if he
left
did,
play with Detroit?
but-
They hit up
but
KD like,
it's
boy,
not-
you want to
it's
beat?
not Jordan's NBA though.
You
It's
wanna beat
not
LeBron?
Jordan's NBA. Now LeBron didn't leave and go to Boston. Yes, that is fair. You are 100% fair on that.
No.
That is completely within the means. But at the same point in time, LeBron did what he had to do to get him a ring. KD did what he had to do. You can't sit here and tell me KD joins any other team in the NBA besides maybe LeBron's team
This is what
and they win a title.
this is what I'm gonna say about KD though. KD was one game away from going to the finals and got beat by.
They was up 3-1, right?
Gun.
That
Russell
was up
Westbrook
3-1,
got
right?
gun had-
He was
Look
up
at
3-1.
those shooting stats for those last 3 games. Look at those the 3 games they got taken out. Look at who shot the ball the most. Look at the shooting percentages.
Westbrook.
That
Wait a second,
that
wait
is
a
why
second.
he
Hey,
left.
no,
That's why he said, "Fuck
listen,
this, I'm done."
listen.
My bad.
Listen.
I wasn't gonna cut.
I know Westbrook took more shots, but if you watch those finals, man, KD was playing timid and playing backing off. When you
was
was
mad.
when you're supposed to be the superstar like how he is now, you know how now he looks at Draymond and he's like, "Give me the ball." When he was playing in OKC, he was quiet. He wouldn't say nothing. Westbrook
Nobody
would
can
give
do
him
he
the
was
ball.
playing
Yeah,
with.
right back.
Westbrook was the alpha male on that team.
And the
Nobody
NBA
can look
is
at
the
Westbrook and
biggest
say, "Give me the
league
ball."
that will
This
teach
is
you
my
how to win
rebound.
besides
I'm
college
taking it up
basketball.
court.
Harden did.
KD didn't know how to win until he got to Golden State.
Hey,
Just like LeBron didn't know how to win until he got to
until you
Miami.
got to Miami, it
You
was a
gotta
win-win.
learn how to
It
win.
was a
from
win-win,
somebody who's
right?
won before.
Now
was
the
a
thing
win-win.
that
Look
I
at every
like I said,
player.
like I said, I won't
My
say
thing just died.
LeBron.
Hold on, y'all.
I won't say LeBron ruined it, but he made it to where people act a certain way. Like, look at the way Kawhi Leonard behaves every time through free agency. He holds the whole league hostage before he makes his decision. He makes it like, I mean, this time he was injured, so he made it pretty quickly. But if he's healthy, he holds the whole entire league hostage, man.
But
And
how
then
is that because of LeBron?
Because LeBron, the way LeBron did his maneuvering through free agency with all of this whining and dining with all the teams, now that's what the superstar players all do. You got to fly out to the Hamptons and meet every one of them, take them to dinner and all this stuff, and they wait on that. Like they wait for the whole entire process. They hold up the whole league and they make the team that they settle on. wins, but everybody else loses because they holding off money. They not signing the right players because they just waiting to see if Kawhi Leonard is gonna come. And then when Kawhi don't come, then they
But
just.
it's a good thing.
But it's
That's the
it's not good
smartest
for
thing
the.
a player.
But it's
the
not good
smartest
for the
thing a player
entire
could do.
league, though.
It's the smartest thing a player could do.
Yes,
It's
but
because
it
now
does
you
not
got
good for.
it
now
hurts
you
the
got these
entire
Lonzo,
teams.
league
stop it.
How does that hurt the whole league?
because the rest of the
The
team,
competitive back
yeah,
like this year, you only got a couple chance.
yeah.
Man, when you look at the
My bad.
90s, there was only a couple of teams that had a chance.
Well, it was like 4.
But see, you
That's
get
what I'm
punished.
saying.
Now you get punished if outside of Giannis, right? You got to do what Giannis did. And the only, let's be honest, the only
Somebody-
reason Giannis won is because Kyrie got hurt. If Kyrie would have got hurt, Giannis probably wouldn't even got his championship.
We don't
And-
know that. You can't
Okay.
say if somebody got hurt.
All right, listen. Well, okay, fine then. Cool. Giannis got one, but look at the players that's good that's probably going to end up without a championship because they not playing the game the right way, that the game that LeBron sort of created, like Dame Lillard. Now he got a decision to make. Is he going to go to the super team or is he going to try to ride it out? If he rides it out, he's never going to win a championship.
There's a lot of greats that never won championships.
But now they look at him differently, though. Now they look at you funny if you don't get one.
KD would be
Who are we
looking
really
different
looking
if
at
he
funny.
didn't win.
That's
You
don't
think
have
they
a
didn't
ring.
look at him funny back then?
I think they still held him in a high regard. Like, I think Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, them guys were still held in a high regard. But now it's to the point where they looking at, like, if you ain't got one by like your 6th year in the league, like they was starting to look at Giannis like that already. They was looking at him like, come on, dog, like when you gonna get yours?
With that
Now
minor-
they saying when you gonna get yours, but they still always had him as, top 5 player in the league.
Right. But he might not ever win another one if he doesn't decide to join the super team. Now, maybe he will, but he probably won't because there's always going to be a group of 2 or 3 dudes that team up that probably going to construct a better team. Like, if James Harden gets in shape and Kyrie gets healthy, they probably ain't going to beat the Nets. Just
If
'cause of the
Kyrie didn't get
super
hurt
team.
last year, they wouldn't have beat him.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they
You
would have
can't
beat.
say-
I think they
you
would have.
can't
I think
say
they would have
that.
swept the Bucks. Honestly,
I just think if Kyrie didn't get hurt last year, they wouldn't have beat him. I
I
didn't
think
say
they
they.
would
I just
have.
said I think they wouldn't have. Wouldn't have beat him.
I don't think they would have either. And
See, it's
and like and what's gonna happen? What's happening is now you have to overpay for certain players just to keep them from going to the super team. Like for instance, the Denver Nuggets had to pay Jamal Murray because they looking at it like, okay, we got a middle of the road team. We got the superstar in Joker, and his sidekick, so to speak, is Murray. So we gotta pay him like 150, whether he's worth it or not, because we can't let him go to the super team. Because if he goes to if he goes to the Lakers win. So they gotta pay certain people just to keep them from going to the super team. They can't really construct the teams the way they need them, and a whole lot of players are getting overpaid, which is good for the players. So I'm not saying he's ruined it. Like that part is good for the players, but for the teams, they can't really properly construct a team. They just, as soon as they get a player that's like in his 3rd year, if he looks decent, they got to pay him like 150, and it hurts him. The Nuggets probably never
got a
win.
lot to do with that.
How many different teams have won a championship in the last, say, like 10 years?
10 years. So you would have, was Dallas in the 10-year window?
11, I think they was.
Well, I don't. It may be
So
They won in 11.
11. So there's
So it was Dallas.
let's
the
count
Heat,
Dallas.
Dallas,
the Heat,
Spurs.
the
Miami.
Heat, the Spurs.
San-
I think it was the Warriors after that. No, it was the Warriors. They came along.
Now I'm just saying,
Warriors,
this name
Cleveland, Raptors, and Bucks.
Warriors, Cleveland, Raptors, Lakers,
Bucks,
Bucks.
Lakers.
Spurs.
It's like 8 different teams, like in the last 12 years or whatever, 11 years. When you go back and you look at the 80s and you look at the 90s, there was only a couple of teams that was winning. Like what LeBron did is now it's different teams that got a chance to win.
But is
When you
it
look
though?
back then, it was
was
when you look back in like the 90s, it was you had like the Pistons, then you had the
Rockets.
Bulls,
Bulls.
you had the Rockets.
Spurs.
I can't remember who won in '99.
Spurs.
The Spurs.
Yeah, that
So
was
you
Duncan
only had
Spurs.
so you only had 4 teams in the whole 90s.
But what I'm saying
Repeat.
is,
You
ba-
had consent.
back in different
Oh, I'm
eras,
sorry.
you had
Did
teams
it?
that stayed together for 6 to 8 years. Now you got a really small window when you got a good squad to try to get it done. And if you don't get it done, it's a wrap. It's getting broke up.
You can't say teams that stayed together. The Bulls didn't stay together.
The core of the team pretty much did.
Jordan and Pippen.
Oh, they had 2 3-peats though. That's 6
That's
out
it.
of the 10 years. That's 6 out of the 10 years.
What I'm saying though is Jordan and Pippen was the only 2 players. You look at the
They
first
kept
3.
that core
You
together.
look at the first 3 championships. You can't say the
But-
core. It was 2 people.
But what I'm saying is
Armstrong,
the
Horace
the
Grant,
superstars.
Bill
Horace
Cartwright.
Grant didn't play in the
That
second.
starting 5 didn't change for those 3 years.
It was
The
Jordan,
That's the
Pippen,
3.
A
I
couple
said
plug, a
that's,
couple plug
Jordan,
and
Pippen,
play.
and Rodman.
that's for 3
That's the
years.
second 3.
I'm talking about when you go into the second 3 that they won.
Was there all 3 the whole time. Their
Huh?
starting 5 didn't. Ron Harper, Luke Longley, Steve
What?
Kerr. Them dudes were there the whole time.
Drew, I think
Luke Longley wasn't there.
I think you're being a little slow, man. Like you're not hearing what we're saying. We're saying the first 3 years and the second 3 years, the only difference was you had Jordan and Pippen was the only 2 that stayed the same.
Okay.
Like
besides
when
maybe
they went into the next 3 championships, it was a completely different team except Jordan and Pippen.
Man, if you
Flavor
take
rock.
all the superstars in the league right now, it's only but a couple of them that's still on the same team. Mostly every single one of them has switched teams at this point. And you know, at some point, the other ones that haven't, like Joel Embiid, he probably going to eventually end up switching teams.
And then I could tell you this too. If the players back in the 80s and 90s would have been able to leave like they can now, man, you would have seen all them greats bouncing around.
You
think
might have.
You think Barkley would have stayed in Phoenix if he would have had a chance to go play somewhere else? And you see, as soon as the league started changing, where players
Houston.
could really start moving around, you started seeing all them players start to go, start to move.
Houston, they was past their prime. That's got a lot to do with bird years and the way the contracts were set up back then too.
But that's when it started to change in the NBA, where players was able to move more
Because
When
LeBron turned it
They
into
was
an
at
arms
the
race,
end of
man.
they was at the end of their deals though. The teams had a lot more control over players than they do now. That is what LeBron changed. And like I'm saying,
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing at all for the NBA. It's great for the NBA.
Like
But
you got players like JJ Redick that's like, man, I want to go to these teams. Like
Hey.
JJ Redick
and
shouldn't even be
everybody
able
that's
to speak
tagging
like
me and
that.
stuff right now, y'all see me on the show, so I'm not ignoring or hiding. I'm watching us get our ass kicked.
Hey, now for real.
It wasn't that bad earlier.
I don't know if y'all paying attention, but for real, like UK is beating the brakes off of Western right now.
They are.
Beating the
Y'all
heel-
have had a
beating the heel
5-minute
off of 'em.
spurt that you pushed we was within 6 points with 10 minutes. Or not 10 minutes, I'm sorry, with 15 minutes.
Hey,
bad 5-minute stretch.
so right now, you know, UK's
Back
up
up to 20.
They up 26 with
And it was 6 points with 15 minutes to go. That's what I'm saying. Our big dude's out. He got hurt.
with almost 10 minutes to go. Kentucky's up 26. You know what that makes me think? This right here.
Hey man, listen. I'm gonna tell you
super facts.
I'm gonna tell you what's going on. Oscar Sheway is going on. He got
Hey,
14,
go
21,
back
man.
off my cars, man. We are sick. We got the bird flu,
21
man.
rebounds with 10 minutes left in the game.
Come
14
on,
and
Reggie.
21, man.
We got the bird flu, man.
Hey, you know what?
I'll tell you,
That's the best thing that happened to y'all all season.
Hey, I swear. Hey, ask Drew what I said would have happened. Yeet it in my pop voice.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even speaking on that, I don't even think U of
It
L
was
should
weak.
even be mentioned in the group no more for the rest of the year for Duck.
Hey, watch out, bro. They beat y'all by 30, bro.
We
If
played
they
them
don't
though. We
reschedule
showed
that
up.
game,
We
if they
sick
don't
right
reschedule
now.
that
Donovan,
game-
We
we
showed
don't
up.
win,
We showed up.
Hey, no,
We
real
sick too.
talk,
We sick after
because
playing them.
because Western's
But we
AD
played
came out
them.
and said it. Louisville could have canceled that game with Western. Seriously, they had every right to about protocols and everything. They could have done the same thing to Western. Western's AD even came out and said that he was gracious that they didn't do it. They had two staff members and Malik. Against Western, it was 2 staff members and Malik.
I ain't talking about no staff members. How many players did you have out?
I have not found out how many players tested. What they said was after the game, another one of the players started feeling sick. And this is where Louisville looks horrible. After the game, another one of the players said they felt sick. They said they started testing and they just started popping from there. I don't know how many on them are COVID.
But the
bad part is that UK sitting here playing the team that they just played, and then a damn one of Western's players got COVID. So
because y'all don't have COVID.
Really bad.
Y'all don't have
really,
COVID. Y'all lost to Western and said there's no way that we could play Kentucky this week.
Bro, chill, bro. I talked to my little cousin, bro. They all sick for real, bro. Everybody said, even the coach.
Ain't nobody sick, man.
That's what y'all said.
But they said the ACC passed a little thing today where if you got 7 players and 1 coach, you playing.
Yeah, because we don't duck smoke in the ACC. So if y'all
bro, we didn't say y'all to play them
or wherever y'all came from.
Hey, bro, we didn't say
Reggie,
y'all
Reggie, I told you when we did it, we was gonna have to wear it. I told you when we did this shit.
Hey, I'm not wearing that, Drew. We are really sick, bro.
I typed it in the group chat.
I'm about to be sick about the ACC, man.
Serious?
Hey, I got to give Donovan some credit though, because at least his team did bounce back pretty strong though.
Nah, that last game was whack. I forgot who we just played yesterday, but I'm still not impressed.
Y'all killed him though.
Hamilton,
we killed
by
him.
far the worst player.
We killed him, but we played Sarah.
15 years. Number 3, he is crap. Whole crap out there.
North Carolina
get a fucking rebound.
Yeah, we got smacked. I was sitting with a couple UK fans, couple Duke fans down at Lex Live watching it, man. I had my North Carolina black jersey on. They're like, you need to zip that up. I was like, I'll start a whole bar fight in here, which y'all don't know about my team. It's one man on the UK.
Hey, me, you, and Melo still got to get together and watch some of these NFL games.
No, I can't watch a game with Melo.
What? Yeah, y'all don't meet up no more?
Huh? Nah, he's cool. That's my people's, man.
Yeah, man. Daniel, my guy, man.
Only person I can't watch a game with is Pete. Last time I watched a UNC Duke game with Pete, we lost. I can't do it again.
You know, Pete's my cousin.
Yeah. Oh, he's real cool, people. Love him to death.
Nah, don't lie.
What?
Yeah.
I love him.
Nah, man, don't lie. We don't fool with Pete. We don't fool with Pete like that.
Going with them pick'em so we can make fun of him and Legend for being wrong every week.
Hey, man, if you know Pete, he's just a busy guy. But if I could get Pete back in on the show and stuff, man, he actually says more ridiculous stuff than Drew.
Oh, yeah, he's wild.
You should have been doing them pick'ems.
I don't even think Jordan's in his top 5 NBA players.
You hear me, Q?
What'd you say?
I don't even think Jordan's in Pete's top 5 NBA players of all time.
He got Tony Parker in his top 5.
Pete's cool on football. Don't talk to Pete about basketball.
Hey, Tony Parker got a nice resume, man. But he's
don't talk to Pete about basketball, man.
Tony Parker does got a nice resume though. You gotta keep it real.
But he ain't nowhere near
this resume. But Weed's going overboard with a top.
Yeah, because he's not even the best point guard of all time.
Talking about top 5. The man ain't even the top 75 of all time.
He don't even believe that.
He's a top.
Hey, I got a question. I got a question for y'all. Hey, chill, kids. I heard this on the radio earlier. They said if Curry wins this year, does that push him into the top 5 of greatest of all time?
5? Nah, I still can't put him in 5, but I can put him in the top 10 for sure.
I think if he wins this year, I think it puts him in the top 10 if he wins.
Yeah, I got him in the top 10 if they win.
Where do you have Curry as top point guards of all time?
I put him number 2.
Behind who?
I put him
behind Magic.
Behind Magic?
Yeah. I put him behind Magic.
Couldn't shoot that motherfucker. He's number 1.
I got him at
Drew,
3.
hey, Drew, how old are you?
Oh,
How old are you?
36. Magic Johnson didn't have a jump shot, bro.
He didn't
Yeah,
have to
that don't
have
matter.
one.
Until I know
He
how
won a
cold.
chip
You ain't
as a
got to tell me
center,
how
though.
cold Magic was.
He won a
Magic
chip
was the
as a
coldest
center, though.
passer ever to play the
Why
game.
do you have to have
So
a
as
jump
far as
shot
a
when
pure
nobody
point
can
guard-
Magic
stop
won a
him?
point. Magic won a chip as
As
a
far
point
as a
guard and
pure
a
point guard, as far as a pure point guard, sure, because you want your point guard to pass the ball.
I'm just talking about the better
Steph ain't got
player.
no holes in his game. Steph has got vision. Steph has
Steph-
got ball.
Steph
got a
handling.
big-
He can
holes.
shoot that
Steph
thing.
got a big
Where-
hole in
where's
his
the
game.
hole?
He don't have no
Where?
holes.
Defensively,
He can't
he's a
guard
liability.
nobody.
Yeah,
I thought
he
they
won
took him off the court on defense. Like, how can you
can't
know how they
guard
sub players out?
nobody.
I didn't think Steph
Yeah.
ran back on D. I thought they subbed for
He
like
can't guard
Like, he
nobody.
made a three.
Somebody look up the NBA league leaders in steals and tell me where he's at.
Hey, Andrew, keep it real. If we did a top 10 point guards, he's at the bottom defensively because he's not better than Stockton. He's not better than Jason Kidd. He's not better than Gary Payton. He's not better than Magic Johnson.
Stockton
I'm
was
talking
not
deep.
that good defensively. Stockton
Yeah.
was a good steals dude, but he
Whoa.
was not locking nobody up.
Yes,
No,
he was. Man, what are you talking
Who
about?
did he lock
Hey,
up?
listen
Who
to
did
this.
John
Listen to
Stockton
this.
lock
Okay,
up?
okay.
Go-
I got
wait a
He's
second.
not, he's
Go
not better
watch
defensively than
some
Thomas.
old Michael Jordan interview.
About Hornacek playing him?
No, I say
Hornacek
go.
and Byron Russell.
What are you talking
John
about?
Stockton ain't guard no Michael Jordan.
What are
Come
you
on,
talking
man.
about, man? Nobody said that. I said go watch some Michael Jordan interviews, and he will tell you how good of a defender Stockton
telling
was.
you.
Stockton was kind of like
was,
AI on
in
defense.
steals.
He wasn't
In steals,
locking you
yes.
up guarding.
Curry's stealing that ball too. He's not locking nobody up.
Yeah.
Drew,
They're
the
similar
only-
defensively.
Drew,
They're
the
very
only
similar.
point guard.
Not Gary Payton. No,
Oh.
no. Gary Payton's lockup. Gary Payton's probably the best defensive point guard of all time.
The only point guard that Curry is better defensively than is Nash. That's a top point guard. Be honest.
Yeah, he's better defensively than Nash, but that's because Nash did not play any defense. Nash wasn't
That's-
even in the
that's
field.
it.
That's the only one.
Curry's getting steals. I'd put him right up there with John Stockton defensively.
I got Curry 3. I got Magic.
Yeah, I got
Vic,
Curry 3
and then
also.
Curry.
Who'd you have it
Yeah.
to?
Isaiah Thomas
Zeke.
is probably, even though I
that's
hate
the
him.
order I
Jordan.
have, Donovan. I got Magic, Isaiah, and then Steph for now. But I
See,
think
listen.
if Steph goes out and wins this year, I think Steph moves to that 2 spot.
Hey,
See,
I can give
never
you
put him up-
you Zeke. I think I still got Curry over him, but I can't argue against Zeke being over him. Like I got to take that one if that's how you feel.
Yeah,
I
I think Curry still got a little more to do to surpass Zeke. Now he got a lot to do to surpass Magic.
Yeah, he
Man,
got to play defense one
like
series.
Donovan
That's
said,
Magic.
Magic's his starting center, Kareem, got hurt and didn't play. This is in the finals.
This was his rookie year too, right?
Yeah, his rookie year. Magic started center and had like 40 points, had like 20 rebounds and 16 assists. The point guard started center.
Now, if you put Magic in the league today and
Famous
gave
they have,
him
though, on
2
all
or 3
his
shooters,
championship teams.
You put
He'd be
Magic
taking
in the
over.
league
Magic
today
would be
with
Giannis.
some shooters. Magic would be in
He
the
would.
MVP talks every single year.
every single year.
Oh yeah, as BTG, can we collectively get together, start a GoFundMe, and get Giannis a shooting coach? Because this is ridiculous. I don't know how long he's been in the league, but if he could get that, he could clearly be the best player of all time. What a jump shot! That'll open up so much more for him and for his team instead of them just packing the paint every time he comes down court.
Yeah.
It's just fullback dive every time
he's already
about to go.
He's already unstoppable. If he get a jumper, this is over.
Yeah,
If he get a jumper,
It's a jumper,
man, it's gonna be
yeah.
the crazy.
Oh,
It'll be the
Look
probably
out.
the freakiest thing. Just think if he had the kind of jumper that
just a
KD
mid range. He don't even need a 3. A cold
Now, just
mid
think
range.
if he had the kind of jumper that KD has with his motor and how he gets to the basket and all that.
He'd get
to
randomly
go
drug
along with-
tested every week.
He would probably go down as the best player to ever play the game.
Yeah, that guy, he's a bad man.
He
He's a
would
bad
have that
man
much
right
potential. Yeah, he's nasty now. A jumper's all he's missing.
I think he's gonna end up with 4 to 5 MVPs.
Yeah.
now. All right, fellas.
To go back to topic, I got Curry 1, Magic 2, and Isaiah 3. And I got Curry over Isaiah. You can make that argument. Yeah, Magic probably deserves to be number 1, over Curry. But I mean, if you're making the title argument as far as Isaiah goes, I mean, Curry already got more.
Nah, because Zeke
Or
could
just as many. They're tied.
If Zeke didn't have those other players on the team, I literally believe he could have led the league in scoring, but he was more of a facilitator. Zeke was cold.
I give you that.
Zeke was cold.
But they all had cold teams. I mean,
He
Magic
was a
had cold
bad,
teams.
bad
Magic had cold teams since he came in the league.
Zeke was a
but
bad
Zeke
man.
like controlled his team. If he didn't have those players, I still think he could have put up more points and probably still facilitated the ball.
Dudes played with great players but controlled their teams. You can't. I
Yeah,
mean, you can make that same argument for all three of them.
All right, man. Listen, does your family have any Christmas traditions? Drew, we throw it to you first.
And you know, of course, there's the church. There's all that dirty Santa. As far as my family goes, nah, we're pretty lax on tradition. Me and my wife are setting some ones with our girls. You know, we always want them to wake up at home on Christmas and have that experience with the stockings. Of course, everybody's doing the Elf on the Shelf stuff now. Matter of fact, I gotta go move mine here in a little bit. But
hey, Drew. Hey, Drew. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I just wanted to cut you off real quick. It's just something I really wanted Donovan to hear. Kentucky's up 29.
Yeah.
Donovan.
And it's almost under 5 to go. It's bad.
Does that number ring a bell, Donovan?
It rings a bell because, you know, right after that game, you know, what was it last week? I had Chick-fil-A come to my door and drop me off a 30-piece with unlimited sauces, man, you know.
It went one short? Wasn't it 29?
Nah, they just brought me the whole 30, man. They couldn't give an odd number. They was like, you earned it.
Donovan, your family have any Christmas traditions?
We all split up, but mostly with our kids, you know. Try to get all of nieces and nephews together, things like that, cousins. Have breakfast in the morning, let them open gifts. Everybody go their separate ways type deal, but just try to do one thing as a family together. Breakfast, dinner, one little thing. More so meal, that's it.
What about you, Reggie?
Watching them NBA games.
Man, you know, let the little ones open presents. Wifey cooked breakfast. I'm downstairs drinking a beer, watching the games. You know how it is, man. Probably putting the car together. If I'm pretty sure somebody got a big wheel this year or a car that I put together. So I'll be down here putting it together, watching the games.
Right. D Money, your family got any tradition?
Man, listen, y'all know I'm newly married still, so you know, me and my wife, we trying to build our traditions now. But we mostly just gonna be running around a whole lot because we got so many people to visit, man. Like I got a blended family, so I got my biological mom's peoples, I got my dad's peoples, I got my stepmom's peoples. Now I'm married, so I got my wife's peoples. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go holler at my daughter. You know what I mean? Like I'm super blended over this way, man. So right now I'm just gonna be running around crazy. But you know, in a couple of years, man, we probably have some traditions after me and my wife get settled real good and figure all our stuff out, man. But right now, I'm just gonna be on the road back and forth, trying to go get some plates from everybody. I might stop over your crib if you cook some chicken tendies. You know what I'm saying? Like it just don't, you know, ain't no telling where I might be at.
My mama's.
I'll see what you petty. Well, I ain't gonna lie. If your mama make some of that chicken casserole, I might be over your mama's. You feel me? But you know, right now I'm just gonna be running around, man.
Yeah, this is a tradition that my family's always done. I mean, something my mama always does. With us, when we was kids, she would always have us do Christmas cookies, and we would always decorate them. So now she does that with the grandkids. So and the kids always love doing that, man. They love decorating those cookies and then eating all of them. And then that's when I usually slide over and grab my little box of the cookies that she'll have. But really, we don't really have any traditions. You know, I'm gonna be getting married in March, so we're gonna be starting our own traditions. So
yes, sir.
But before we jump off here, man, we want to let everybody know, man. You know, Merry Christmas from BTG.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas,
and,
everybody.
And shout
Merry
out to
Christmas from Pinky.
And shout out to Q, man, for you know, giving me the opportunity to host some shows, and you know, this was his idea of this one today. He was like, "Hey man, if you want, you should do a Christmas special." And I was like, "Oh yeah," and he threw a couple names out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, there's a couple more names I want to add to that list, and I think we could have a great show." But
man.
but it's always good chopping it
Hell
up.
no, when he brought my name up. No. I'm playing.
Q brought your name up, and I sent him the emoji like this.
That's what he said. He said, "You said hell no."
Oh man.
Hey y'all, and listen, man, y'all go check out my episode I did with Q on Sports and Discourse, man. I was rapping with him about some old North Carolina history. We got
dropped
into some. Yeah, I dropped it, man.
Okay,
I ended up talking to him for about an hour, man. It was a real good conversation, man. We brought up some old North Carolina legends.
I gotta check out that one and the one you did with Ryan.
Absolutely,
I'm gonna check both of them out. But
Yes, sir.
definitely go check out Derek's show, man.
It's
good. It's
Yes,
good,
sir.
man, for real.
I brought up some old school names like Joseph Forte. I know y'all forgot about him, man. We talked about the old killers, man. Donovan remembers. You remember Joseph Forte?
Rashad McCants. That's
Yes,
Donovan's
sir,
favorite
man.
player right there.
Hey, don't ever bring up Rashad McCants in North
That's
Carolina.
Donovan's favorite player.
Don't ever bring up McCants, and that's don't bring up McCants in North Carolina ever again.
All right, fellas, I gotta get up off here to get my daughter from work, man.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
man. Hey, it's good having you guys, man. Come on
Merry
the show,
Christmas,
man.
all y'all boys.
We're gonna do it again. Yeah, Merry Christmas, man. Hey,
Merry Christmas.
Brady MVP.
We'll see.
All right, man.
Eagles in the playoffs, baby. Let's go.
That right there ended the show.
Yes, sir.
I'll let you guys later.
All right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Burr.